Okay, so now we're moving on to circuit court. We're moving on to circuit court. So the first group is group 16. And I believe group 16, right? I got to pull out my notes here. There are 3 people running in group 16. And Judge Dennis Daniel Bailey is the incumbent in this race. And he's running Abby Rifkin Logan and George Odom are the other 2 candidates in this race. I believe George Odom got some sentinel endorsement, right? Do you know if that was the case? Because I know he recently got an endorsement. I'm not sure. I can double check while we're talking. But let's talk about Judge Bailey. What's your thoughts on him?
He's the incumbent in this race. He's been around for a while. He's been a criminal defense attorney for some time, and before that, he was a prosecutor. And I'm going off the top of my head here. Yeah, that's correct. So before that, he was a prosecutor, and then he went into private practice doing private criminal defense, and then he's been a judge. Let me see here. I think he's been a judge for 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I was mistaken. Yeah, Sentinel said to re-elect Dennis Bailey. They endorsed the incumbent. So they said keep stability in the courthouse.
So here's the thing with Dennis Bailey that I think folks need to be aware of is that Dennis Bailey has been brought before the Florida bar for conduct unbecoming a judge, basically. He's been cited for misconduct. He was found guilty for misconduct, and he was publicly reprimanded for misconduct. So, which basically means the Florida bar told him, you were a bad judge, don't do it again. Here's a fine, pay a fine. He got to keep his job. I'm not voting for Dennis Bailey. The other candidates in this, and I guess I'm not sure if you want to talk more about his qualifications and his background before we move on to the other candidates. But I just wanted to point that important point out because most people wouldn't know who this judge is, what his background is, and the fact that he's been disciplined for professional conduct.
Yeah, and he said he responded to that, right? And he said he had what he did was he said something to an attorney in the presence of a jury, and it became problematic, and he was reprimanded for that behavior. He said he says, I received a reprimand for not maintaining the highest standard of conduct and for not being courteous to an attorney when I disciplined his behavior in a jury trial without first excusing the jury from the courtroom, which may have adversely affected the client's right to a fair trial. He said, but he puts in parentheses that ultimately the client won the trial, and then for not immediately removing myself from the case when asked to do so by the attorney. So, that's his explanation of what happened.
Like a very convenient prepared about, I was reprimanded because I did it in front of the jury. No, that's not why you were reprimanded. You were reprimanded because you were being unprofessional in your conduct towards a lawyer. That's why you were reprimanded. It wasn't because you did it in front of the jury. Right. He said he apologized to the attorney in writing when asked to do so. And he said he apologized for his error. And he said he is not repeated and will not repeat that again. So, yeah. So can we move on to the other candidates?
Okay, yeah, because it was another. Also, I want to say one other thing, because because we're gonna talk about a judge that got some drama going on like later on. But I'm just gonna talk about how about like this one actually did some stuff, admitted to doing some stuff, and he got to keep working, right? And so, and then he goes like, he said he did like 4 death penalty trials. Like, I failed to recognize the toll that a level of professional stress took on me and how it affected my judicial temperament. And then he said, at my request, I had my assignment changed out of criminal division temporarily to step away from jury work and high-profile criminal trials, right? So he said he behaved that way because of the stress of his job, and he was allowed to do that. That's going to be interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so Judge Bailey is a no for you. So we have Abby Sheila Rifkin Logan.
Yeah.
She's been around for a long time. She's been a member of the Florida Bar for 38 years, it says.
Right.
She's also, she went to UM for law school, but went to UF undergrad. So she's a member of Gator Nation.
Yep, now she's a former prosecutor down in Dade County.
In Dade County.
I've heard good things about her from some of my Dade County colleagues, both in the prosecutor's office and in the private defense field. And I got to meet her when she was running last time. This is the second time running for judge. So I got to meet her last time, and I got to talk to her last time. So in my dealings with her, she seemed like she was a bit flustered. But I guess it's the process. You know, you're running for an office, and people are coming at you from all different angles, and you can get frustrated. And I think she was, at the time I met her, she was a bit frustrated because she could see that in Broward County, it seemed like it was like a Broward County old boys network, and you weren't part of it because you're a Dade County attorney, right? And then I could see that. So I recognized that in the brief time I met with her, perhaps that was it. But still, I think if you're a candidate for an office and you're meeting people who are trying to meet you and they're trying to learn more about you, you kind of have to try to smooth your edges off a little bit, until you get to know the people in the community whom you want to represent. So I don't have anything bad to say about her. Just that one experience that I had with her, just that one brush when she ran last time. But I will say that my colleagues from Dade County have nothing but good things to say about her, both in the state attorney's office and in the private defense firms.
Okay, and it says that her community involvement, that she's part of the Broward County Women Lawyers Association, South Broward Bar Association, Florida Association of Women Lawyers, Awards and Nominating Committee, Broward County Bar, Broward County Trial Lawyers. She's been a member of the Florida Bar since 1982. She was also part of the Grievance Committee Chair. She got a Florida Bar President's Pro Bono Service Award. Oh no, she was on the committee for the since 2019. She's a member of Benign Birth Justice Association, and she's a subsection chair of Florida Rules Committee for the Florida Bar. She was from 1984 to 1986. And it seems like a lot of her service started in 2011. All right. She's part of several.
She does have some teaching experience as well. I'm not sure if I don't know if you mentioned that, but she has some teaching experience back in the University of Florida, it looks like from 2005. And then she had some teaching experience as an adjunct professor at FIU since 2007.
Yes, it says she was a Florida team leader for the training program. That was from 2000. I guess she still does that. She teaches trial skills to prosecutors and public defenders around the states and the United Kingdom. Her practice is mainly 99% criminal, 1% civil. She's taken about 175 or more jury trials to a verdict, and 100 or more bench trials to a verdict. So she has a lot of litigation experience. She's been a member of Florida Bar for 38 years, but a member of the Broward Bar for 8 years. Right, so
she's definitely impressive to me. I thought she was impressive last time she won in Broward. I didn't think she got a fair shake from some of the places she went to be a candidate. She's definitely impressive. She's not my selection in the race, but I can't take anything away from her.
Okay, so the last candidate that's in this race is George Odom. He's been a member of the Florida Bar for 7 years and 7 months. So I think he's the young one in the group. He graduated from Florida Coastal Law School, I believe in 2012. It seemed like he did most of his schools in the Jacksonville area. He went to Florida State College, which is a community college in Jacksonville, University of North Florida, which is in Jacksonville, and he got Florida Coastal Law School of Law, which is also in Jacksonville, Florida. He has his own firm. He was a member of he worked in the public defender's office from February 2013 to May 2016. And he's also worked for several different attorneys. He worked, for the 4th Judicial Circuit. I believe that's the public defender's office in Jacksonville, Florida also. He doesn't have He has honors, like he was a South Florida Business Law Journal. I guess he wrote an article in 2017, and he was one of the 40 under 40 for Legacy Magazine South Florida in 2017. That's actually a pretty, bit of a big deal here. That anything you want to add that I missed? Anything that I missed?
A couple of things. He has tremendous community experience. He's been a member of the Florida Bar Military Affairs Committee, the Florida Bar Family Law Committee, Virgil Hawkins, Florida chapter, and that's a Black bar chapter in the state of Florida.
Yes.
He's been, I believe he was one of the officers in the T.J. Reddick Bar Association. I believe he might have been the president of the T.J. Reddick Bar Association, which is a bar association in the county of Broward. And he has, as I said,
he has a lot.
He's been involved with the William Dandy Middle School mock trial coach, New Mount Olive Baptist Church. So he's been very involved.
Yes.
George is a devil dog, is what we call them. I am a Navy squid. That's what we're called. People who served in the Navy are called squids. People who are Marines are called jarheads. They're called devil dogs, and that's what George is. George is a jarhead. He's a former Marine. He's an all-around great guy. He's got loads of integrity, and I can tell you that I didn't know. I thought that guys who came out of the military and became judges, they were just going to be too hard A. I thought they were going to be too hard A on the bench, but they've been surprisingly great. Some of the best judges we have in Broward are former military guys. You talk about Ed Merrigan, who's a former Army guy. He's actually in the reserves of the Army right now, and he's a judge. He's fantastic. He's over the Veterans Court there in Broward County. We have Judge Fry, who's a former Marine. We had Judge Murphy, who recently retired. He was a former Marine also. He's great judges. And I think George will just add to that legacy of former military members who go on to be fantastic judges. His integrity is unrivaled. He's just, sometimes I've told him that I think he's just too honest for his own good. So I think George would be a great judge. He's the youngest one in this bunch, and it's time for new blood. And I vote for George.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, he's Phi Alpha fraternity.
I saw that. Yeah, he's an Alpha. My brother's an Alpha, so I'm a little biased when it comes to that too. So yeah, he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and he actually has a well-rounded community service. He's a member of like the League of Women Voters. He just does a lot of stuff. He's doing some stuff with St. Jude's Hospital. He's part of the planning zone. And then he's a member of the Alumni Association of his law school. So yeah, he's doing a lot of different kind of things, and you kind of need that, right? We need someone that's really well-rounded to be on the bench. So he's done a lot of things, and for him to make that 40 under 40 list, that definitely means that he's made sure that the community knows who he is, and he's very engaged. Because in order for you to get that nomination, you have to have a lot of community engagement for that to happen. So for that group, George Odom, right? We're agreeing on that. All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. So that was group number 16. That's what that group is called. That was group 16. Okay.